Just announced, Princess Leonor and Prince Christian stun in wedding outfit reveal bride and groom. The world expected beauty, but no one expected this. A bride, a groom, an outfit reveal that silenced a nation. Spain gasped. Denmark froze. The world leaned closer. And tonight, we take you inside. It has finally happened. Her Royal Highness Princess Leonor of Spain, and His Royal Highness Prince Christian of Denmark, have stunned the entire world with a wedding outfit reveal so breathtaking, so unexpected, that it will be remembered as a royal turning point for generations. No leaks. No rumors. No early photographs. This was unveiled with absolute precision, as if the moment itself was a crown jewel. And in those first seconds when Leonor stepped forward, wearing what can only be described as an embodiment of love stitched into fabric, the silence was deafening. Even the most seasoned reporters at the Palace Press Gallery struggled for words. Later in this video, you'll hear the exact detail that Queen Letizia whispered to King Felipe the moment Leonor walked out, a line so filled with emotion, it brought him to tears. But first, let us paint the scene. Scene setting. The setting, Madrid, at the Royal Palace courtyard. A carpeted walkway lined with white roses and golden lanterns. The Spanish flag and Danish flag draped side by side, not as symbols of two nations but as symbols of one love. Guests held their breath. Royals from across Europe sat in silence, their jewels glittering in the late afternoon light. And then, the music began. Soft strings. Slow. Reverent. A melody chosen by Leonor herself, a nod to her late grandmother Queen Sophia's favorite hymn. The crowd rose, and from behind the palace gates, she appeared. Leonor, in a gown that no one had predicted. Not a simple Spanish cut. Not a borrowed Danish tradition. But something entirely new, a merging of two royal worlds, brought to life in silk and lace. Later in this video, we'll explore the hidden meaning in every stitch, why her train was exactly 7 meters long, and why her veil carried a secret embroidery that only Christian noticed at first. The bride, detail on Leonor's gown, emotions, reactions. Leonor's gown shimmered like liquid light. The bodice hugged gracefully, structured yet delicate, a tribute to Spanish craftsmanship. The sleeves, long and regal, whispered Denmark's heritage, echoing the designs once worn by Queen Margrethe herself. The neckline carried a modest sweep, not ostentatious, not daring, but deeply elegant. At her waist, a handwoven belt, gifted by artisans from Asturias, the land where she spent her childhood summers. Her tiara was the true shock. Not the anticipated, Prussian tiara, not even the fleur-de-lis diadem reserved for future queens. Instead, Leonor wore a brand-new creation, commissioned quietly by King Felipe and presented to her on the morning of the ceremony. Diamonds intertwined with sapphires, forming the shape of an infinite knot, a symbol of eternal union. The audience could barely breathe. Cameras clicked, and in the front row, Queen Letizia's eyes filled with tears. But it wasn't just Leonor who stunned. Because the next moment, all eyes turned to Christian. The groom Christian's outfit. Prince Christian stood tall, every inch the future king of Denmark. His choice of attire carried weight, a military uniform, but not the one many expected. Instead of Danish red, he chose a deep royal blue, a quiet tribute to the Spanish uniform once worn by King Felipe himself. The medals across his chest shimmered under the chandeliers, each one chosen with purpose, each one telling a story of legacy, of duty, of devotion. But what made the audience gasp was the sash. A bold, unmissable sash, uniting the colors of Spain and Denmark. Blue, red, and gold intertwined. Never before had such a statement been made at a royal wedding. It was not just fashion. It was politics. It was family. It was history. And later in this video, we'll reveal the controversy this sash has already sparked among traditionalists in Denmark, a backlash that could ignite debate for years to come. Family reactions. When Leonor and Christian stood together, bride and groom, side by side, the palace shifted. King Felipe, often reserved, was visibly moved. He placed his hand on Queen Letizia's shoulder. A simple gesture, but one that spoke volumes. For a father who once carried Leonor into press rooms as a baby, this was no ordinary moment. This was his heir, stepping fully into her destiny. From Denmark's side, Queen Mary's pride was unmistakable. Her eyes locked on her son, steady, proud, almost whispering across the aisle, "You are ready." But not every glance was easy. Some senior royals exchanged quick, unsettled looks. The blending of traditions, the merging of crowns, for some, it was beauty. For others, it was tension. And yet, the people who lined the palace gates, who watched on giant screens across Madrid and Copenhagen, they didn't see politics. They saw love. Pure, undeniable love. Later in this video, you'll hear how a single child in the crowd shouted two words that made the entire plaza erupt with applause. Symbolism and secrets. Every detail was deliberate. The lace on Leonor's sleeves contained hand-sewn olive branches, a symbol of peace. The embroidery at the hem carried stars, a tribute to Denmark's skies, where Christian once told her he first fell in love under the constellations. Her bouquet, not roses, not lilies, but wildflowers from both Spain and Denmark. Gathered by hand, bound together with golden ribbon. And hidden inside Christian's jacket, tucked into his breast pocket, was a folded piece of parchment. A handwritten letter from Leonor. Words she wanted him to carry against his heart as he stood before the world. We may never know what that letter said. But one courtier whispered that Christian touched his chest 3 times during the ceremony, as if reminding himself it was still there. Grand finale. As the ceremony unfolded, one truth became clear: this was no ordinary wedding. This was a declaration, a union not just of 2 hearts, but of 2 nations, 2 traditions, 2 futures. The outfits, the gown, the uniform, the tiara, the sash, were not just fashion. They were history woven into fabric. They were statements louder than speeches. They were vows made visible. And when Leonor and Christian finally turned to face the crowd, hands joined, smiles trembling with emotion, the roar was deafening. Bells rang, flags waved, and across the world, millions felt as if they too were standing there, part of a story that will be told for centuries. This is why people cried. This is why headlines screamed. This is why even the harshest critics fell silent. Because in that moment, Princess Leonor and Prince Christian were not just royals. They were not just heirs. They were love itself, standing before us all. And tonight, the world will never forget the day the bride and groom stunned us in silence.